Hello, I'm Zevaganat and welcome to my studio. And this has got to be the first time ever that I've forgotten to start streaming. Because I've just done that. Literally. I came down here, fired OBS in the intro sequence, started talking, and noticed in the chat that it said I was hosting Egypt, which I was. It went live earlier on. So I looked at my on stream, and sure enough, yes, I'm hosting Egypt. But I'm supposed to be broadcasting, and I'm thinking Twitch is being a bit derpy here. It should stop hosting if I start broadcasting. And I was about to start looking at the Twitch settings to see how to stop it hosting. And I thought, let's have a look at the OBS window, and I thought that says start streaming. It doesn't say stop streaming like it should do. And I realised I hadn't started streaming, which is a very good reason why it hadn't stopped the auto host. So there we go. For the first time ever, I forgot to actually start streaming. So we will, having realised that, my microphone is working, which is good for two reasons. One is forgetting to stream. The second is I had to well, I've now been getting crashes. I seem to potentially have managed to solve the crash on wake up that I was getting, which was coming from the disk drivers apparently. But now I'm getting a crash which is coming, well, one I was getting from a USB driver, which I now seem to have stopped by reinstalling the same reinstalling the same USB 3.0 driver. Now I was getting a crash from the USB microphone preamp analog to digital converter. Yeah, Scala Isola. So this evening I reinstalled those drivers, which seem to be a downgrade. Or they've got some very funny numbering. Either way. So I'm hoping that ultimately stops all this thing. The fall upgrade from Microsoft must have done something in the region of the drivers. To have three or four driver sets suddenly go poof and start causing errors, they had to have done something. Whether they've just got a little, they've tightened up on driver, I'll say, security, reliability, robustness. Whether they've done more error checking on the drivers and the drivers weren't that good, don't know. But it seems I have since the update, that machine is, I don't think, more than about 2 out of 15 days has it started from sleep successfully. Hopefully I'm getting there though, because it's a bit of a pain in the neck to have to keep restarting the machine. But let's start this machine up. We're running reasonably cool, which is fine, and we're going to put some shading in on the side of the face, and then we will be coming back afterwards. I am on the right pen, yes I am, to adjust the shading. So this is where it can get interesting. get the shading looking somewhat right. I've already gone a bit darker just there where I didn't want to, but I'll deal with it. Oh, excuse me. Today I'm feeling rather tired for some reason. Well, I guess it's got all to do with the fact that of the physical work I've been doing, but I don't know, I just feel really tired today. Well, this evening. I was literally stood up earlier on today. I was almost falling asleep, stood up. I was just stood in, leaning against the doorway. And I started nodding off. Stood up. And my brain was sort of doing all sorts of backflips in terms of not really keeping track of what it was talking about for a start, but it looks like. But I was literally even sort of thinking out loud to myself. I couldn't actually keep a coherent sentence in my brain. Working fast here because I don't want to apply a lot of heat. I just want some subtle colouring to start with. So by applying very little heat, I just get a small amount of colouring. Mainly looking to start to just knock off the colour that's here, but also I want to do something. What is it I want to do? I want to take away the white. That's what I want to do. I want to take away the whiteness of the board. And I can I do that? A little, not much. Right, I can get rid of that line there as well. Leave the chin just for the moment, I'll come back to that. Approaching Nirvana. Thought it was. I like quite a bit of their stuff. Ow! Actually, it wasn't hot. It was hot, but didn't burn me. It just surprised me. The board, of course, is hot. I've just applied pyrography to it. I'm surprised it isn't hot. Cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. Hello. Okay. Thank you. Well, welcome, Wolfie. Nice to see you again this evening, French or otherwise. I was trying to work out why French there looked weird, and it's just taken me about 5 seconds to work out. That's because in English it's spelled with a C, not an S. I'm looking at it thinking, but that's right, and it wasn't. But anyway, I know it's not your first language. Well, English isn't, never mind French, so don't worry about it. But I was looking thinking, I know that word's wrong, but what's wrong with it? Ah dear. How are you today, sir? Did I ever eat raw fish? I've eaten smoked fish or cured fish. Is that raw? No, and I actually don't actually care for herring at all, to be honest. The thing I do not like is fish bones. If I get a fish bone in my mouth, I can almost literally be sick. I do not like fish bones at all, which is kind of a bit odd because I do actually like fish. I used to go, well, I was about to say sea fishing. I used to go fishing in the sea from a boat inland in the Scottish lochs, and we'd bring back things like cod and mackerel, which are generally speaking the easiest ones to catch, and eat those cooked fresh. So usually over a barbecue, but you bake them in foil, and it's amazing the difference fresh fish is. But having now, say, cured, I never did like it, but my father used to eat what's called over here roll mock, which is herring pickled, which would be raw fish but pickled. And he used to eat that, and I never liked it. All fish has bones, unless you're talking about octopus, and then it's not a fish, is it? But all fish have bones, and it just depends on the fishmonger or the person doing the cooking as to how well they remove the bones. I mean, we in England, fish and chips, the fryers are usually really good at removing bones. I don't think I've ever had a bone in fish from a fish and chip shop, for example. You've done some research, and I should eat a free cangle candle. But you're not going to tell me what it is because it's gross. Okay. Really good meat. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that people. I mean, you find that a lot, don't you? In different cultures, people eat different things. Tripe in some areas of Yorkshire, tripe is something which is eaten quite a bit. Usually with vinegar. And then in some countries they eat spiders and all sorts of other things. So I mean, haggis is an interesting thing. Yeah. Well, I mean, you talk to a vegetarian and you talk about eating a steak, and they're gonna go, ugh, and it. Well, I think it's nice. So what you're actually saying, it's something that you've got to eat with your eyes closed. No. No, I eat meat. I'm not vegetarian. Oh, okay. So it's something that just sounds like it ought to be not very nice. I was about to say something like eating snake, for example, but that doesn't actually strike me as being that bad. Or crocodile, and I mean alligators eat them in the States. Yeah, the offal stuff. Have you heard of things like black pudding? That's something which, well, a lot of Yorkshire, it seems to, I think, is an originator for black pudding. A lot of you do see it a lot in the rest of the country. It's sort of an English breakfast of black pudding, and that's got things like, you know, a lot of the other stuff, you know, in it as well as a lot of blood, which is why it's black. Haggis, I believe, is a bit like that as well. Yeah, it's there's a lot of stuff like that. If you think you're not going to like it because of what it is. Tripe is one. That's a bit like, I've never tried it actually, and I have no interest in trying tripe, which is a cow's stomach. But in actual fact, I mean, if we are going to eat animals, then what we ought to do is eat all of them. Well, within reason, you know. So as you talk there, you know, what would be the throwaway bits, eyeballs, brains, all these sorts of things. Then we ought to eat them, really. Make sure you use the skin for leather. And make sure you use as much of it as you can. Right. On with. By the way, okay. What sound is it? What's it doing? It sounds okay. Right, yeah, so I am just listening to my own stream back, and my stream, is it gone left only? Let's see if I can fix that. Just a minute then. I will just disappear off screen. I've reinstalled the audio drivers. And it's done that trick again. Let's see if I can find it. I have to be off screen because the computer's in a different place. But now what I've got to do is find the relevant part of the settings here for the right microphone. So it's my line-in device. That's not it. That's not it. It's 100. It should be. Oh, it's gone to 2 channel. Okay, 1 channel. Hopefully this does not affect. Let's find out. The microphone may go offline, we shall see. Yeah. Oh, we're back. Okay. Right. If I've got that right, are we still on a single channel? Are we still on are we now on both channels? Thank you. Every time you do anything with the audio subsystem on a PC, it does. Microphone, by definition, a microphone is a single channel device, and the device, the analog to digital converter, encodes it as a single device. It gets into Windows, and Windows goes, that's a dual channel device, so I'll put it on the left channel, which is where a single audio channel always is, on the left channel of a stereo pair. So it's kind of the right thing to do, but the wrong thing to do, because I keep telling it every time I configure it to be a single channel device, and what then happens is Windows goes, it's a single channel device, I better put it on both left and right. And I reinstalled the USB drivers for the audio this evening, and it looks like it reset that. It reset all the other audio bits of the audio subsystem as well. I got speakers going to microphones and all sorts of things. It just completely wrecks everything every time. But thank you for letting me know. I would have completely forgotten about that. It happens every single time, and every single time I forget to change it. You kind of like expect, in a way, that if you tell Windows it's a microphone and it's on 1 channel, it ought to remember that. So, I'm beginning to think that next year I shall have to start saving for a new machine. I think that's, well, I say new machine, partially new machine. I think it'll be a new motherboard, probably new memory to go with it. Probably a new processor. Just from the point of view, this is a 2.4 gig processor. I might as well get a faster one. If I'm going to replace the motherboard, I might as well get a faster processor, a more up-to-date one, and a new video card. So all in all, probably about 1,500 quid there. Kind of don't need a new case, and with a bit of luck I can get a water cooler for the board chipset, and I can get a water cooled video card, because I've got water cooling in this machine, so I've kind of got used to the nice quiet operating, and I'd like to keep it that way. Tell you what, it's a little bit scary when you take a sort of a £500–600 video card and you start taking the screws out of it and lifting the heatsink off to put water cooling on, because at that point you've just voided the warranty, usually anyway. And the odd thing the awkward things. It's how when I built this one, because I was building a brand new machine without an existing one that was compatible with taking the video card. I couldn't even test it before I water cooled it and put it in, because I couldn't easily. I didn't really want to run the water cooling loop without the video card in. So without including the video card in the water loop, because I then have to drain it, strip it, rebuild that bit of the loop, and then just to test the video card out. It would have been a sensible thing to do, and luckily I think I probably will be able to do that in future. I'll actually be able to put a whatever it is, what's 1080 these days, or is it still a 1080? That's a good card. Hello Laser, good evening sir, welcome to the studio this evening. Okay, well hopefully you... Oh, I didn't actually turn the video down, I'm afraid. Hello. Yeah, I didn't actually turn the video down. I got completely distracted last night. Again. I'm still having restart problems or startup problems with the PC. Only today the startup problems were with the audio and USB drivers. I'm convinced that something changed in the driver subsystem on Windows in the fall creators update, as they call it. Because after that I've been having blue screens almost every day, and I think they've done something. Either they've changed something about the driver subsystem. Well, they've changed something about the driver. Either they've sort of changed something and the drivers haven't caught up yet, or they've just tightened up on the way the drivers work and it's catching out some drivers that weren't quite perfect, but it's a bit of a pain in the neck. I've now reinstalled about 4 drivers chasing. It's almost as though there's something else wrong, because I'm chasing symptoms of drivers crashing. You fix one and another one crashes. You fix that and another one crashes. It's kind of like there's something else there, but it's given the difference, I don't think it's the motherboard, because you're getting things like disk drivers, you're getting things like USB drivers, which are sort of completely different-ish subsystems. That's the South Bridge is going, I guess. But I'm not getting any operational errors, so I'm only getting startup errors, so it's unlikely to be that. In fact, the only thing that seems really common is Windows itself. You've done startup. It can be done, can it? I didn't know Stardew Valley actually had an end. Or do you mean that you? No, don't know. I've only ever watched it. I've never seen it as though it had a conclusion. Never thought it had a conclusion. You know, as in you could say, I've done this. And on that day, Laser, I expect to see you streaming. whilst watching 4 high definition streams. Oh, you mean you've done the automatic? Okay. Set up all the sprinklers and things. Right, I need to just fade a shadow away at the bottom here, under the chin. Or as the light sort of comes around the chin. So I kind of don't want... I've got a really dark edge there, but I'll try and fade that out in a minute. Fallacy in Wonderland. Nice name. Thank you very much. That's kind of you. Welcome to the studio this evening. Yeah, it's a bit of a dark line. It's a bit too much like an outline. I need to just make it a little bit wider. Yeah. Yeah, you'll be watching them all simultaneously. All, what is it, 2000 at, or whatever, Twitch broadcast. I am kind of lucky in that I can actually manage. I think at least three HD full, 1080p screens streams here, which in some ways I find really weird because I cannot watch a 1080p 60 FPS stream. It just artifacts out and gives up, and yet I can watch 3 1080p 30 FPS frames, and I can't. It kind of almost doesn't make sense. Does that? I can watch 3 streams, full screen, HD resolution, but I can't watch one at 60 FPS. And that's two-thirds the bandwidth. I mean, I kind of guess. I understand, I guess. It's the amount of data it's shipping to that one process, I guess. But it's just a bit weird. I was about to say I'm not quite sure why that would work, Laser. I can understand if your PC was overworked. That helps because it doesn't have as much rendering to do. Unless what it's doing is... Depends on how Twitch is broadcasting, I guess. I don't actually know how it broadcasts the video stream. I could understand if it was sort of broadcasting overlay, so like low resolution, medium, a first pass which is a low resolution, then another pass of the same frame which is increasing in resolution, and your PC stops requesting the higher resolution ones. I could maybe understand. If it was sort of doing that, it's sort of instead of going all the way to 1080, it said, okay, I only need to go as far as 720, and it doesn't request the additional data frames. But I don't actually know if that's how the video is being broadcast by Twitch. It sort of would make it getting better would make sense if that's the way it was doing it, but I'm not sure that's the way it's doing it. As far as I know, it's a complete. We just say what you get what I'm sending, and what I'm sending is a frame and then changes. I guess your PC may be able to skip some of the changes. If the changes are only like small, little tiny changes, it maybe can skip those if it doesn't have the resolution to display them, and therefore not getting that bit doesn't bother it. So or it bothers it but you don't see it. I don't know, that's weird. Interesting but weird. Right, I need to bring this further up here. Yeah, just to around here, and sort of need a fairly dark edge, but I don't want it to be like I've drawn a line around, because this really is the light source is actually roughly where the camera is on his face here, and so just under the chin there's the shadow, and the shadow sort of curls around a little bit, you see what I mean. So it's quite a strong shadow underneath, but it's a very sort of thin shadow. Now the option to switch is something called transcoding, and what you get is partners get transcoding. What that lets them do is it lets them send out a high resolution stream, and then Twitch recode that on the fly for for people like who want a lower resolution stream, like they want like they're on a mobile or a tablet, or they've got a low bandwidth connection. Associates can get a transcoder if there happens to be one free when they start broadcasting, and people who are not associates just might get one if there's one available when they want to start broadcasting as well. So what you're getting is literally what I am sending out. I'm sending out a 720p. P? Why am I sending P? Oh yeah, P, progressive, that's right. I was thinking I then. I was thinking it meant interlaced. I'm thinking, why am I sending interlaced? Yeah, so you're getting exactly what I'm. Twitch don't touch it at all. They just basically send it straight out. They get it in, send it straight out. The only way I can adjust the only way you can get something different is for me literally to change it at this end. Yeah. It would be nice if we got transcodes. Then, if I had a transcode available, then you would be able to make the choice. Yeah, I'm going to have to darken this down because I'm going to apply colour across the whole of the face at some point shortly. but we've got some shading around here. And we have some more around here. And that wants to come a bit further into the face. Okay, so let's just darken this down around here, because it's about time to colour in the whole of the face. Yeah, well, not exactly limited. Partners are guaranteed a transcoder. Associates have any that are left. Well, associates get the first choice. Not first choice. How did I put this in? The next priority, if there's any available transcoders left over, then the next priority is associates, and then non-associates, just normal streamers follow. So sometimes normal streamers can get a transcode if when they start one happens to be available. Once you get one, they don't take it off you until the end of the stream. And these days you can only get them at the start of the stream. At one time, if a transcode became available, it would stop and start your stream for you, but insert a transcoder at that point. And that sort of, they stopped doing that because it annoyed people, because you got a stream stop message, you got a stream start message, went out to everybody. Recordings got a break in the middle and things like that. So now you only get them if there's one available at the start. I've never had one. Yeah, I want this. I just want the edges, if nothing else, darker, just so I don't have to put the edges back in again. Still running with a fairly cool tool here, because I don't actually want this suddenly to go quite dark. Stardew Valley in winter is boring. I'm not going to disagree with you, because I can't remember what I've seen other people do. Do you not end up doing something like mining in winter then, to do something different? So, although it kind of maybe looks a little odd me doing this with a pyrography tool, the reason I'm doing this is it applies the heat over a wider area, but slowly, and it makes it a bit easier to keep the same, like a contrast going, same level of contrast across the whole area. It's a bit like if you try and take a pencil and draw lines next to each other, enough so you fill in the complete area. You can't really do it, but if you sort of take it, lay your pencil on its side and scrub backwards and forwards, you can fill in an area without leaving gaps. It's a bit like that, but not quite. But that's kind of why I'm doing it like this. It also means I don't as easily get edge marks where I've stopped, which gives me a more consistent overall tone. You went to set it. Oh, you're oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll say something about that in a minute. You just want the next season to start so you can do all the fancy stuff and play with the toys. Okay. The number of times I've done that, I've not. I used to have. On my in the last studio. At one point, I think I'd got 4 computers on the desk, and I got 3 keyboards. And the number of times you picked the wrong keyboard and started typing, and you sent all sorts of stuff to all sorts of places that you didn't mean it to go. You eventually got a KVM switch, which didn't really help because you still had to remember to switch it to the right machine. You still sent the wrong thing in the wrong place, but yeah. Only double, Wolfie? You mean you're not quadrupling it by now? It does look better on a smaller screen, doesn't it? I've got to do some shading around the eyes because at the moment it looks rather flat-faced, it looks rather surprised. But what I want to do, just for the moment, is I want to try and just apply a little bit of colour all over. It's too white at the moment, and that doesn't help. I know from experience it doesn't help with perception of what colours are actually there. It doesn't help me, should I say. I need to apply a little bit of colour just to knock the brightness off. And it then, you know, it gives like a changed perspective on the image then if I do that. So I don't need a lot, I just need something to knock the brightness back. Hence I can sort of go, but I want it to be fairly consistent, which is why I'm scrubbing backwards and forwards like this. It sort of spreads it out. I don't get sort of tooling marks. Now I highly suspect you can't actually see any change at that end, but I can see a really subtle colour here. It's a little bit like I'm adding a little bit of grey to it. Which is just enough for the purpose. I did need a bit of highlight, but that's not a problem, I can fix that afterwards. Pyrography in this style is all about contrasts or colour differences between the brightness of areas. So it's not really the actual colour, it's the difference in colour. Right, so we've got a lot less there of it. Why have I done that like that? Okay, I see why. So now it's just a case of going through and adding in the slightly darker areas. Okay, I've got my main shadows in there. Now we start with the more subtler areas, and this is going to be interesting. It is, just because it is. The colour changes are so... In fact, I'm probably going to exaggerate the colour changes, I think. Because otherwise they're too subtle to make a good pyrographic image. Bother. Alright. Well, we'll deal with it. That went darker than I wanted it to. Went a lot darker than I wanted it to. Mainly because I wasn't watching the tool and I got it I had the right hand side of it on the board, and the right hand side of it is hotter than the left hand side, and it caused that burn mark at the darker area. So what I now have to do is work around that. such is a thing that you end up having to do sometimes, just because you make a mistake, a bit like that. And I've now got to sort of balance. Balance out a fair bit of changes actually. Excuse me. Is that 3033? Can't quite read it here, but I've got a feeling that in the UK we'd read that as 3.033. But it occurred to me that you may use decimal points and commas differently to the way we do. That's not bad going then. A group up to that amount of people, that's well done. $3,000 members. Yeah, well done. And getting a group like that started is not bad going. Yeah, well, maybe that's why it worked, because it wasn't. I won't say people didn't take it seriously. But they enjoyed it because it was not serious. I still haven't defined the nose properly around here. Yeah. You might be surprised where about how things like that take off, Wolfie. There's quite a lot of websites big famous sites which didn't didn't start off to be that. They just started off because somebody wanted to do something like, just show off something, or just get a group of friends together, or something like that, and then it's just gradually built and it grows, like you do in Stardew Valley. It grows and grows and grows. You never know, you might have started the next big art sharing site there. He's looking less startled now, but still not. I still haven't got it right. Terrible things. Gotta get eyes right. Still looks a bit too flat-faced. That's going to be the challenge, I think, on this one. Is getting these eyes right because of this full face lighting that's on it. That the lighting, which is sort of top down or top quarter down, is a lot easier because you get really nice shadows, which make it easy to do face shape. But here, with it being full face, they are really, really subtle shadows. This. That's a bit better. See what it is. They want to come a bit closer in as well, I think. That one's not bad. That one, okay. Time to give the whole face more colour. Okay. Right, okay, let's give the rest of the face some more colour now, and then we can... I don't like the edges on that shadow. I need to reduce them a little bit, smooth them out. This sort of shadow doesn't have a hard edge like that. Often when I start with a face, one of the things I often will do is just fill the whole face in first before I put much detail on at all. Kind of done it the other way this time, but I want to try and get the shadows sort of really kind of subtle edged. I have no idea why, but suddenly the thought crossed my mind is that one thing I was hadn't said today, and I don't know particularly why I would, but it suddenly came to me. I haven't said it snowed here today, and I'm not quite sure why I would want to tell you that, but for some reason that's what crossed my mind. It snowed here today. We had a small amount of snow. And I do mean a small amount of snow. Sort of snow that you measure in millimetres. And it appeared overnight, which is a pity because I didn't get to see it. Although I was out last night. As you know, I left the stream fairly promptly to go pick somebody up. And whilst I was out, it was actually snowing last night, which was kind of nice to be in the car. So I wasn't in it as such. But I got to see snow for the first time this year. I may well do that. If you'd like to drop your YouTube link in to chat, Wolfie. Yeah, I was looking at that. I noticed that does it have to be uploaded as a private video to get that option, Wolfie? Because I couldn't see it at all. But when I upload mine, I upload them as not as public, but as the middle one. You desperately need the rain, Laser. Well, we generally speaking, have a lot of that. Okay. Thank you very much, Wolfie. It was something that didn't bother me specifically for during the archive, but if I started doing any specific YouTube videos, then I'd potentially want to schedule them. And the other thing is, once I have caught up to date, then what I want to be able to do is, after a stream, is to transfer the recording across to YouTube, but schedule it to go live in 24 hours, because that's what the Twitch contract requires, is that Twitch have exclusive use of the video for 24 hours after broadcast. So I can't multicast, and I can't immediately make a video live on YouTube. And by scheduling it, I can do it so I don't forget. Okay, Albite laser. I have no idea what one of those are. I know it means you like something, but I don't know what it is that you like. Alright, we can now, although I've got some more shading on the face to do, what I can start to do is put some more, be a little bit more aggressive in colouring, I think. Probably going to exaggerate the shadows more. So it'll be potentially less subtle about them. Okay. I don't mind the rain. I can enjoy being out in the rain. Although if it gets too heavy, then I can enjoy being inside in the rain. Depends on the rain. It's amazing the different types of rain, isn't it? So Yorkshire has got a lot of moorlands which are quite remote, and I quite enjoy just being out there with the wind blowing past with a little bit of rain and an overcast sky, and just being in the middle of the moors, nobody around. Potentially nobody around for miles, and you're just there by yourself, and you get that peace of mind of you just whole brain relaxes. Okay, I'll catch those after the stream, Wolfie. Thank you. Right. Let's do some serious shading now. You're almost as bad as another friend of mine who has I don't know, it's a bit like he's just discovered YouTube, and that, you know, you can make videos for YouTube, and he's kind of doing this is how you make an intro video, this is how you use this software to make an intro video, this is how you use a microphone to do a voiceover for an intro video, and this is how, you know, unpacking a pen, or mixing, what was the one he did most recently? Mixing mashed potato so you don't get lumps. I've never had lumps with mashed potato, but anyway, he obviously has. And you know, there's just he's gone rather silly over these things. And he did one voice. He did one video where, because he was using a power tool in the background, he recorded his voice extremely loud, so that it drowned out the sound of the power tool, and he recorded that. And one of the things I said to him afterwards was, "Why didn't you just mute the audio track? You can mute the audio track. How do you do that?" Well, don't know. It's your software. Next day it was how to mute an audio track using this software. It was quite funny. You can see them again, by the way, those links, Wolfie. If you go to the video manager and you list out all the videos, and then you go into the to edit the details of a video, it gives you the link again. But I'll try not to lose them. Oh, I see what you mean. Oh, yeah. The short links. You do know YouTube gives you short links as well, don't you? Sorry, they just look like YouTube short links when you get when you upload a video. I just realised they're the print screen links. Actually, on more than one occasion just recently, I've almost unfollowed him. Not you, my friend, that is. Not you, Wolfie. Just because of all these videos. They're a bit too much. They're only 5 minutes long, and he's actually getting quite a lot of views on them, which is, I guess, is not surprising, but because people are interested in that sort of thing, and they only have a lot of people only have 5 minute attention spans, but Okay, Wolfie. Hopefully, one or other of the computers will not crash, and cause me to restart the chat. So I should have it on one or other of them. Okay, but how does he learn if he doesn't get the chance to tell other people, though, Wolfie? You know? It's kind of like you joined his game, so to speak, so... Right, that shading's starting to work a lot better now. Okay. Well, I've got two chat windows in front of me because I've got a popped out one from Twitch. I've got the actual one, my stream window. I've got the live Twitch channel page on my other computer. So hopefully one of the three windows, or one of the two computers, will survive. You joined his squad because he has squad boost. Okay. I have no idea what that is. You've got to remember, I don't play these games. Okay, it's a game mechanic to give you the experience. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not right that he would be saying, you know, do as I say or else. That's not necessarily right. Although I mean, in a real war, of course, that's what the commanders would be doing. You know, it's you follow my orders, or you sort of get shot for desertion or something, or whatever it is. But in the game context, if somebody knows better, then what you do is listen to what they have to say. You know. They've got to learn to be able to take charge, so to speak. But they should listen to somebody with more experience, and then make the decisions. if it was in war, you'd have no choice, would you? In a game, you've got the choice, of course, but in real life, I mean, that's what they said about World War One. You know, a lot of the officers were just people from a privileged background. They didn't have any particular knowledge of war and tactics and things like that. But the people followed them because they had to. They you know, otherwise they literally were sort of in jail or shot. Well, a good commander would, yeah. You don't necessarily. I mean, in modern day armies, especially where you've got, you know, it's a volunteer army as opposed to a conscript army, then you know, I think probably these days the commanders are there because they deserve, if that's the right word, to be there. But as I say, it's not always been the case. Right, I'm starting to like that colouring coming in now with the shading. I'm going to have to do a lot more of it on the face. And of course, in modern day armies, of course, Wolfie, you don't get to choose your squad. I guess the answer to that is to ask one of them, Wolfie. I don't really know the answer. It's a situation I've not been in, so I really couldn't say. But there's quite a few people, ex-soldiers, that broadcast on Twitch you could ask the question of. In fact, I'm trying to think of the name of the guy that I actually I follow him on Twitch, and I watch him when I get a chance. And he is an actual ex-soldier. Well, it's kind of as Lazar mentioned, you know, insubordination if you're not careful, and if you're lucky, well, I guess the officer can't put you on the floor, really, can they? Because then that's assault. But if anybody that's wondering, I'm holding the board up like this because it means I don't have to lean over it, which means I don't get neck ache. But I'm not, by doing this, I'm not getting the light reflecting off of it, so I can see a lot better what I'm doing, and you get a different perspective. World War One. You know, it was. That. You know, a lot of the officers were people, you know, from rich backgrounds. Whether they were good or not, you know, didn't come into it. You know, gentleman's war and all this sort of stuff. You know, and. A lot of them had no idea. A lot of them hadn't even sort of done the same training, so. Now, of course, a good soldier, you could say potentially a good soldier can influence his commanding officer. Mind you, I will say, to be in a position where somebody who is in charge knows less than you do and makes bad decisions because of that is an extremely frustrating one. I have been in that situation. Not in a war, and obviously not soldiering, but one of my first jobs in telecommunications, I was in that position where the person in charge of where I was working didn't really understand, and I know on one particular day we lost a really big circuit. Somebody dug it up, which was tens of thousands of pounds per second per minute being lost, and it was lunchtime, and I was the only one in, basically, apart from an apprentice that we had. And this fella, who had no idea, basically just said, you know, go take these timesheets to another building. It was kind of like, but we've just lost. No, they've got to take these timesheets. Well, they don't have to be in for till tomorrow. Take them now. Alright. Walk out and take them. But it was an extremely frustrating time. And that was just one example. But there's things like that, you know. Right, that shading is starting to look a lot better now. So let's continue it. Hey, Wolfie, talking, which we weren't, but we were right at the start about derps, like the microphone coming out of only the one channel. I bet you can't guess the mistake that I made at the start of the stream tonight. It's the first time I've ever made this mistake, but It's a big one with regard to streaming. I made a real big mistake, and it was probably about 5 minutes before I realised. Count your, bite your tongue. Yeah, bite your tongue. Count to 1,000, very slowly, backwards. It was the most frustrating time of that in that job. Eventually, I moved jobs. I had enough. I did something else. And then you get because what then happened is with things like that, and then you get things like, well, why are the failure stats so bad? Your time to repair should be a lot better than this. Yeah, it should. At which point, you don't say anything at that point. Yeah, it should, shouldn't it? Well, I fully intended to say anyway, without anybody guessing. But tonight's big derp. I started streaming without actually starting streaming. I forgot to push the start streaming button. So no, well, you muted video. Not quite. Yeah, I've done muted mic before now, Laser. No, this was forget to stream. So I'm sat here. I've got the stream deck to the right. I kick off the intro, the normal intro that you've seen. It switches to the standard view, to the introduction, and I start talking. And I just flipped. I can't remember exactly why I did, but I flipped to the monitor screen in front of me from one of the other tabs, and I see that I'm hosting Egypt, which is one of the streams I will host. It's an auto host, but of course when I start streaming, Twitch is supposed to stop any auto hosting that's going on and switch to my broadcast, and I'm watching it because there's a delay, so I'm watching it. That's not switching. I'm still watching. It's not switching. Okay, how do I switch off? How do I stop it auto hosting? Because it should be showing my stream, and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, well, there isn't any way really to do that. It's you either auto host or you don't. You can turn it off completely. And I was about to do that, and then I just sort of looks over at this other screen, which is why OBS is in front of me, and I'm thinking, bearing in mind I've got glasses on that allow me to see close, so at a distance I can't really see very well, and by distance I mean sort of 6 feet. And I'm looking over here and I'm going, I'm sure that says start streaming, and I look more closely and I'm sure it says start recording underneath it as well. So I eventually go up to the screen and it says start streaming. It's one of those. I've just spent 5 minutes and I actually haven't even started the stream. Push the button, start the stream, and the auto host goes on. So that is the very first time I've ever started streaming without ever starting streaming. Never done that before. Of course, nobody would have known because, of course, I wasn't even recording it. Never mind, so it's completely gone forever moment. But that's one of those real Twitch moments, is that. Start your stream without ever actually streaming. If I hadn't looked at the feedback window, you know, and seen that I was hosting, I would never have known. I could have gone through the complete evening, through to the stream wrap up, and only notice when I go over there to actually exit OBS. You know, I could have gone for 2 hours and gone, oh no. Right, that's coming along nicely now. It's coming along really nicely. Probably not too many more streams on that actually. I was kind of expecting 4 because I seem to have got a lot faster doing portraits. It maybe go to 5 just because there is a lot of more shading on this than I was at first realised, I guess. But it's going quite well. But we have reached 9 o'clock, so it is time. Yeah, well, otherwise, Laser, I'd have probably gone through the whole. I'd have probably gone through the whole broadcast thinking, there's nobody talking. Oh, that's what told me about it, because right at the top of chat it says now hosting Egypt. He must have just gone live not so long before, and it was at the top of the chat window. Otherwise, if I hadn't seen that, I would have literally gone through and thought, he's really quiet in chat tonight. And I would have got to the end of the stream and then realised. But yeah, so I have been broadcasting. That's it for this evening. I am hoping. Oh yes. Just as a complete aside, I was helping a pussycat down off the top of a door tonight. Earlier today. I'll get the words out right. And he actually ripped both these bracelets off me. He managed to get his claw trapped in them, and he ripped it, bent one of the rings in both cases, and the bracelets both fell off. And so I've actually repaired both of them, and I can't see a mark on them. One of the interesting things though is I had to rebuild this one from about halfway, and I always had an error in it at this end, and I couldn't find what the error actually really was. There was a ring out of place, but I couldn't actually work out where it should be or which one was out of place. But since I've rebuilt it, it's now looks okay, which is sort of a slight advantage to having a bracelet ripped off you, as it gets fixed and the problem goes away. Yeah, it is 11 o'clock for you, Laser. I am hoping I will be able to stream again tomorrow. I should be. I will start the stream somewhere between 7 PM and 8 PM UK time. I try and start as close to 7, but it's just I give the leeway for meals and things like that, depending on what's gone in the day. I'm going to mention the blue box at the bottom, all the URLs that are there for various things. They're all fairly self-explanatory, I think. The shop, extravagantoutdooretsy.com. I will just say we are coming up to the point at which if anybody gets anything from Christmas, would like to get anything from there for Christmas, we are not very soon not going to be able to guarantee that there is any possibility of it arriving before Christmas. What with the potentially, depending on the materials needed, whether I have to get any more or actually to get it into Christmas post, because Christmas post is always a pain in the neck. Things take a lot longer than normal. So if you are looking at anything in the shop there that you think you would like for Christmas or like to be delivered for Christmas, get the order in sooner rather than later. And talking about cash, I guess I'm going to point out the two buttons at the top. You might have noticed this one has a subscription button as well. If you'd like to assist the channel with the purchase of materials and things like that, subscription is a great way to do it. Don't have to. You can watch the channel for nothing. That's not a problem. But it would be fantastic if you consider it. And you met the ending. You just waved. Okay. There are 3 buttons. Okay, what's the third one then? I can't really see my own. I have to when I looked using an unlogged in browser, I only saw 2. What's the third one then, Wolfie? I shall delay the stream a little bit to give you time to answer. I only saw 2. One which was the follow button and one which was the subscribe button. You're going to give me a picture. Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, there's a bits button there. Okay. To provide bits. Okay, well, if anybody would like to provide bits, they are welcome to do so as well. That's thank you very much, Wolfie. I shall indeed do that later. And with that, thank you all for watching. Yeah. Okay, I shall remember to change the ending. They weren't there when I saw it last time, but there again, if I wasn't logged in, I couldn't donate bits. That's probably why. Yes, and with that, thank you all of you that have watched. You, Wolfie, Laser. Hope I will see you. I hadn't forgotten. I just stopped reminding you. With that, thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you on the next stream. Bye for now.